So Pau, you asked me, what do I think about life? I'd say, in a word, I think life's pretty terrific. That doesn't mean it's always easy or always smooth, but there's always, if you're optimistic, this possibility it can get better in the future. I think the secret to really enjoying life is to have a clear sense of what's important to you, not what's important to somebody else, and figure out what your priorities are, and you follow that. And then, even though there are hills to climb, and sometimes difficult things happen, you really can make the future always better than perhaps the past was. And the optimism that that could be true really is a wonderful thing. What more do I think about life? I think that life can be very beautiful. It's something that's best shared with others. It's the challenges and the opportunity for good outweighs all of the difficult things and the bad things. I think that, one of the great things about life is you keep learning. And so, I mean, I'm 61 now, so maybe I'd like to have an extra 20 or 30 years, but I wouldn't want to have to relive any of the 20 or 30 years I've ever lived before, because I know so much more now than I did back, say, when I was 20, that I wouldn't want to have to go back there. And that's just something to keep in mind. It gets better and better and better. No, I actually think life is a bunch of chemicals going on in your brain and a bunch of interactions that are described by science, and then there's just a little bit of a miracle in there somewhere. So, as a physicist, the thing that I always like to share is that as physicists, we really believe we can understand the world around us at its most basic and fundamental level. What everything in this room is made of, what everything in the universe is made of, how it started, how it evolved, how it will end. So we know the universe started with a big bang, and that the universe is expanding, and that expansion is accelerating. So there's a lot we know. One of the most satisfying things about being a physicist is we do experiments, and sometimes we get the wrong idea, and then we do experiments and nature proves to us that we were wrong. So there's an ultimate truth you're always looking for. And we are arrogant that we believe we can get this all figured out. It might take decades, it might take centuries, but we will get there. And that's just amazing.
Is it going to happen?
Of course.
It will happen.
We will. We will. I'm 100% confident. It might just take us a while, but we will get there. These are serpentine, these dice. I got them in a marketplace in Rome, and I think they're probably loaded.
Ah.
But when you come into the Provost's office and you want to ask a question, it can be a roll of the dice, whether you get the answer you want. No one's ever rolled the dice, though, but it's there for them to try. Whoa! Look at that! You're going places. By the way, I do want to clarify something. When I said we can figure things out, it's the physical world. It's the workings of the physical world that we can understand at its most basic and fundamental level. I'm not going to tell you that I can predict how a great poet is going to write a poem or a great composer is going to write music. That's way beyond me. I'm doing the simple thing. How does the universe work at its most basic and fundamental level? What are the building blocks? How do they fit together? That we're going to figure out. Now, you wanted to ask about being provost? I'm still learning the job. So what do I have to say about being provost? It's really fun to see the breadth of the university, I feel like I've just scratched the surface of all the various intellectual pursuits that are going on here. It's been particularly fun to learn about areas that I am not so familiar with in humanities, social sciences, education, business, law, and the kinds of really deep investigation that goes on there, asking really, really challenging questions. And I think in some ways they're much harder investigations in that you're trying, say with the humanities, it seems, to understand the source, the origins and limits of human creativity. And that's that little bit of a miracle I mentioned. That is really interesting to analyze, to explore, to understand. And so it's just a privilege as provost to talk to students and to talk to faculty and hear their excitement and hear what they're doing. And then to try to, at the university, at the provostial level, facilitate that learning, education, research from the institutional point of view. So that's really fun.